Welcome to Arts News, friends. I'm Jimmy Ray here with you every Friday, 10 a.m. to talk about people, places, and things to do in the arts world of the Ozarks. This week, we talk with the Springfield Ballet ahead of their 50th season, including the 41st showing of The Nutcracker. We'll also learn more about a special showing on 9/11 at the Gilloy's Theater. That and more coming up. Let's go! And this week, we continue to shine light on artists, locally and regionally, that entered NPR's Tiny Desk contest. This week from Fayetteville, it's Biesel Berto with his tune, The Rain, right here on Arts News KSMU.
Bruised lips and a clever tongue, you're cold again when morning comes. I can't reach you in the light, your love is gone numb. Actions speak louder than words can say, like storms that are blowing in, you've brought in disarray. The nights slowly fade to day. Time is what we have to save. Memories of warmth are all erased. The storm in the distance is 100 miles away. Sunshine around, but all you ever think of is the rain. Everything I wanted is slipping through my hands. My questions go unanswered like a rattle in the ceiling fan. And I know it's unasked for, I'm doing all that I can. Clouds overhead forever, I'll never understand. Nights slowly fade to day. Time is what we have to save. Memories of warmth are all erased. The storm in the distance is 1,000 miles away. Sunshine around, but all you ever talk about's the rain. Can't you see that this is golden? It lights up everything around. Don't you see that this is broken? I'm so tired of being down. I see you in the dawn's light, crazy hair just the same. Screen door slams behind you, I won't call your name. The nights slowly fade to day, and time is what we have to save. Memories of warmth are all erased. The storm in the distance is a million miles away. There's sunshine around, but all you ever see is the rain. There's sunshine around, but all you ever talk about is the rain.
That was Bees Alberto from Bentonville, Arkansas. As we continue to shine a light on artists locally and regionally that participated in NPR's Tiny Desk contest. We'll continue to do that for the next several weeks and hear from some of these talented artists. I'm Jimmy Ray. You're listening to Arts News here on KSMU. Welcome. I'm Jimmy Ray. You're listening to Arts News here on KSMU. An exciting new update at Springfield Ballet. It's a new season with The Nutcracker and Sleeping Beauty. Here to talk more about it, Executive Director Kyler Dibben and Co-Artistic Director Jose Suarez. Welcome, folks.
Morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And you both look very good. It's obviously radio, so they can't see, but I'll let them all know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, going on 50 years of ballet, but 41 years of The Nutcracker, and Kyler kind of newer in the Executive Director position. How's everything coming together for you?
Yeah, so it's going great. I'm on my 8th month now, but I'm going on my 2nd year with the organization, and we are fresh celebrating our 50th year of Springfield Ballet. Actually, on the 24th, we celebrated our 50th anniversary with Mayor Jeff Schrag giving a formal proclamation. We cut a cake. We had a great celebration in the ballet studios, and I think that everybody had a great time.
Yeah. And so whenever we talk about this new season coming up, the Nutcracker is the annual presentation and kind of a big deal. Lots of dancers and lots of action. Is that true, Jose?
Well, yeah, it's a big staple everywhere you go. We have about 118 cast members.
Wow.
Yes. But it's not, that's the dancers only, but that's the crew, the volunteers, and all that, which we have 8 shows.
Yeah.
I've been dancing the Nutcracker since I was 11 years old.
Wow.
And it's the first time that I see like a cast that big that it's not an actual company, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal. And I also have 8 shows, which
Yeah.
is also unheard of for school.
What makes that possible, do you think, with this organization? You're fairly new to the organization, right? What are you seeing different here in the ballet that kind of makes it thrive?
We have a very active board to it as well, and the city of Springfield is very open to it, to a ballet school. We have an opera here too, and symphony and all
Yeah.
that. So I think Springfield opened its arms for that. We have the Landis Theater too, with the partnership with the Springfield Ballet that makes everything possible.
Yeah.
I think it's a combination of the hard work that the board and our faculty does, plus the city of Springfield.
Right. You say you've been, how old are you?
I'm 33,
And you've been dancing the Nutcracker since you were 11.
11 years old.
And now, performer now into direction.
Mm-hmm.
It's a staple everywhere you go. 41st season this time around. What makes it endure? Why does it keep happening?
Well, you kind of grow up listening to the Nutcracker music. Even if you don't know the Nutcracker music, you heard it before.
You know it, yeah.
Yes. I think it's part of the culture as well. You see it during Christmas time. At least for me, there's no Christmas without Nutcracker.
Yeah.
And I think everywhere you go, you find that. It's part of the story.
Yeah.
Is based on the Christmas Eve too.
When it comes to the actual dancing, what's the freedom there? When an orchestra plays, there's notes on a page. There's some artistic direction that you can have and some freedoms there, but there's notes on a page. Is dancing the same way? Are there particular steps that have to be done at particular times, or is it complete freedom whenever you're doing this choreography?
We do have some freedom to do whatever our artistic vision asks us to do. We kind of change based on the dancer that is dancing as well. We try to make sure the dancer feels comfortable. The dancer feels like it's natural on their body. We try to keep the same to keep the technical level the same. That's what we aim for as well. Keep the technical level high, but as well bringing the dancer up to that.
Right.
So
in the original Nutcracker, is it these are the dance moves or the notes on the page per se, and everybody who does it kind of stays with those standard moves, or it is just kind of a blank slate?
No, there's a few steps that needs to be there, at least in my opinion, because it tells the story. A little quick example, like the Sugar Plum Fairy at the very end, she walks on her toes. It's a very staple movement that it needs to be there.
Yeah.
Because that's how she is portrayed, very light, very, very fairy-like. So that step stays. Or the kids dancing together and marching, that stays the same because it's like soldiers and all that. So.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
And Kyler, whenever you see these productions coming together each year, what comes to your mind? Are you seeing improvements each time? Are you seeing different directions each time? How does it develop in your mind kind of as the outsider?
Yeah, so from pre-Jose and Maria to now, I'm seeing that the foundation has been laid solid, and we really have this thing so structured to where like it rolls so smoothly. But seeing their new direction has been really fun to see. From what I've noticed mainly, a lot of our kids have had this sort of excitement to really act on stage, because dancers are not just dancing, they're also actors. There's pantomime. And I think those students have been so excited to feel those like scared emotions on stage when the cannon goes off, or these little baby mice that are like third, second graders stealing the cheese, and you can tell that they're just being little rascals and they're just playing that out. And I've noticed such like a different feel for our students in terms of their acting, and we've done a really great job during our summer intensives, just really driving like acting and pantomime and all
music
of that
as well,
musicality.
right?
Yeah, and I've really noticed that difference, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, and you've mentioned Maria, the other artistic director. Let's give her a shout out,
Yes,
Maria.
That's right.
Velasquez.
Velasquez.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she was a student at Springfield Ballet, a scholarship student. So she grew up in the organization, and
Yes.
she's progressed from student to associate artistic director, all the way to co-artistic director now. And she's calling the shots along with Jose.
Yeah, we danced together in Columbia, Missouri. That's how I met her and her husband. And then we danced together in Nutcracker here a few years back.
Okay.
And then the job and opened up, and then she's like, "Hey, do you want to apply to this?" He was like, "Sure, why not?" Yeah. But also, Kyla was part of our Beauty and the Beast last year.
Yes, I remember
Yeah.
we talked about
So-
that. Kind of in an acting, or you were the father.
The
right?
was
father,
the
yeah.
father.
So I think
Yeah.
it's really cool that like he also has the idea of like how the production actually works.
Actually on stage
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not too separate of a role to where you never really feel that stage momentum and that stage energy. I
Right.
think that's important for organization.
For sure. I think everybody should be able to do something like that. I think we invited also our board to be part of the party scene. So that's how they get, like, they're invited for that as well. I know they have their busy jobs and all that,
Sure.
but we try to invite them to be part of the party scene.
Very
so
cool.
the Nutcracker goes from like age 5 all the way to adults.
And the live music came back as well last season. Is that right, Kyler? How'd that end up going?
It did. So we had a string quartet playing for a contemporary piece that Jose actually choreographed. And then we had a partnership with Missouri State University's art department. And I mean, I think that it was something really special.
Dr. Murray, there's the one who created the music. And then I just was bothering the board for months asking for that.
Yeah.
And then I think they they got tired of me asking, just like, let's do this. So
How does it feel to be able to do classics like the Nutcracker, Beauty and the Beast, Sleeping Beauty, but also being able to put your own flair and your own choreography on these more contemporary pieces?
I think it's part of the whole umbrella term of a dancer right now. Dancers don't only use ballet; they use contemporary, they use music, theater, jazz. All of that is like what makes a dancer complete, right? Nowadays,
Yeah.
maybe like when I was start dancing was ballet only, but now like the years have gone by and people realize that to be a more rounded dancer, they need to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And bringing this to our students, I used our seniors mostly for that piece to get them ready for college, because some of them were going to doing dance majors in big schools around the
And they're
US.
going to be needing to do a
Exactly.
lot more than just ballet.
And they dance with live music very often, so that's as well helps them out.
And it's such a great opportunity to introduce our audiences to different types of
Exactly.
dance, because the prevailing genre of dance is ballet in Springfield or musical theater. So being able to introduce contemporary, which is not traditionally drawing thousands of people to see, is really special,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. If you're just joining me, I have Kyler and Jose here from the Springfield Ballet as we talk about their next upcoming season here. Nutcracker's running from December 17th to the 21st, and then Sleeping Beauty May 13th through the 16th, and information at their website, Kyler.
At springfieldballet.org.
Yeah, and I'm sure all the social media is out there as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about this partnership you have with Arc of the Ozarks, because I read a little bit about it and I think it's fantastic. Kyler, give us just a rundown of how that's expanding, what it is, and where it's going.
Yeah, so this partnership started a few years ago with Arc of the Ozarks in partnership with their SOAR program, which is their adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So this started first as sort of like a craft and story time and creative movement workshop quarterly. And with the direction of Emily Orr, previously our outreach coordinator, she was like, I think that we could really expand this and give them something more substantial. So what we've ended up turning this into is full 16-week, once a week classes in line with our semesters. And boy, they are just picking up these ballet moves
Oh,
like
yes.
crazy, and they're loving it. Oh my gosh. So we picked up on that success in the spring semester this year, and we ended up getting funding through the Springfield Regional Arts Council, their arts and culture grant in partnership with ARC. And with this grant, they were able to expand their talent show, and now their students are being able to perform ballet on the stage at the Hatch Auditorium in November. So it's really awesome. It's really so exciting. And they recently found in their budget that they're able to provide ballet shoes to all of their dancers, and they're going to stop by Standout Dancewear for a private fitting for all of their students. And that just gives me like all of the warm fuzzies, because this isn't an opportunity for a lot of adults in general, and just being able to be an adult and perform,
Yeah.
it's such an exciting moment.
Yeah. Opening doors, accessibility, and just making sure that inclusion is happening and that folks can feel the joy of dance.
For sure.
No matter
For
what.
sure.
Just want to ensure that everybody and every ability is able to step through our doors and
Yeah,
dance.
very good. Let's talk about Sleeping Beauty that's coming up May 13th through the 16th. I mean, obviously, this is kind of an old story. So, what approach are you guys taking here?
Originally, Springfield Ballet was supposed to do Sleeping Beauty in 2020. Is that right?
yeah,
And then got
correct.
canceled due to the COVID and all that. Funny enough, Maria Velasco was going to dance with her husband then, because he was also a dancer, and then that got canceled. So we kind of go through a rotation based on what you think Springfield would like to see, and I believe like fairy tales, things for direct to kids are more able to sell tickets.
Yeah,
you know
sure,
what I mean?
sure. Probably accessible for the students, too.
Exactly, to know that as well. And people know the Disney version a lot, but ballet is slightly different.
How?
We have more fairies. The idea of the gifts that the fairies give to Aurora, which is Sleeping Beauty, it's more detailed. The story is a little bit more intricate when it comes to that. It's funny, I did the Evolve fairy before, called Caraboss. I was part of that. I was Caraboss because back in the day, that character was portrayed by a man. So that gives another flair to it as well. So That's funny enough, when my teacher that actually was the one who helped me come to the States, he did that professionally for years. That was his main character, was being Carabas,
Wow.
the evil fairy.
So how does that work? Does somebody take on that character and play it around the country?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like a musical too.
Somebody masters a concerto.
Exactly,
And
and then they go around like that.
Wow.
With ballet, that happens not often, but it happens a lot when you're very good at that.
yeah,
So
when you embody the
you
character
embody
so
the
well,
character
that people need it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They hire you for that. I was a freelancer. We called the dancers like that for a while, and they hire me just for this specific thing.
Yeah.
It's like Nutcracker. On my heyday, I used to do 6 to 8 Nutcrackers from November to December.
How did they differ when you go from one to the next? A lot, or was it pretty similar?
It was pretty similar, but when you dance for that long, that much, like your brain kind of picks up that very fast. But the choreography that I did, the Cavalier with the Sugar Plum Fairy, kind of remains the same. Sometimes I dance with the professional, sometimes I dance with the student, and it kind of balances out.
Yeah. Let's talk about your history a little bit. You said dancing the Nutcracker since you were 11. Well, when
Yes.
did you pick up the ballet shoes?
Russia has a school in Brazil. It's the Bolshoi school in Brazil is the only satellite school they have outside of Russia. And when I was 10 and a half years old, the school came to my town to hold auditions.
What town was that?
Teresina, Piauí. It's like north of Brazil, close to the equator line.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't see your shadow at noon.
Sounds
what
hot.
Oh, it's very hot. Very, very hot. They want to pick up dancers with no training at all.
Okay.
Because they want to put the Russian method in your body like very well.
Start from scratch.
Scratch and all that. And then they came to my town and they like, that was the only guy in my school. And then they play a music and said, besides all the stretching and all that, the tasks they do, it's like, I'm going to play music and you guys dance, whatever you guys like. I had no idea what to do. So I just imagined a soccer ball in my feet and I started dribbling. That's what I did. And then they invited me. Out of 300,000 kids in my state, 20 got selected to go to the nationals in Joinville, which is south of Brazil, where I went to school.
Okay.
And then from, I don't know, hundreds of kids, they pick up 10, and I was selected to be there.
Wow.
And then 11 years old, and I started Nutcracker then. And the year that I did not dance Nutcracker was last year. It was my first year as co-artistic director.
So when you got picked up with that program, how long did that last?
Supposed to be 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah, but then I only served 7 because I was invited to go to Joffrey Ballet Chicago,
Chicago.
as a trainee.
Okay.
So I was like, I don't think I'm going to have this chance again. So I told my director, hey, I'm going to go. He's like, yeah, get out of here.
Yeah.
And I went there and finished my studies in Chicago.
Okay, Chicago. And then where'd you go?
Chicago, and then I went to Milwaukee. Milwaukee, I went to Pennsylvania.
So these are all just for ballet companies?
Ballet companies, yeah.
In there in town, or did you guys tour as well?
We toured as well, just around the states.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then went to Missouri, and I went to Alabama just for dance, traveling a lot and all that. Chicago, I went back to Chicago after I left to do like operas and stuff.
Your formative years there, you're dancing, really living it up as a professional dancer. What was that like? I mean, you're traveling, you're going to new venues, you're working with different companies, you're building relationships with companies that I
right.
assume are very strong, very tight, spending a lot of time together, a lot of stage time, a lot of off-stage time.
Yeah.
What was that like for you? How old are you now? 30-something?
33.
33, so
Yeah.
through your 20s you were doing this?
That's right.
Yeah. What was that like? It seems
was-
like it would be fun.
It is fun. It is fun. Like we spent 3 months working on the Nutcracker, but then like it's almost like I like football a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like always be ready. Get ready as a starter, you know?
Yeah.
I was always like the guy that people would go to if they had like any questions and all that about choreography. Because not speaking English for a while and still having an accent, kind of like the language barrier was there for so long. So I would really pick up things fast with my mind. So like being together with friends from other countries too kind of helps you with that as well. We did 30 shows of Nutcracker at Joffrey. People get injured a lot, so you got to be ready to jump in and be quote unquote a starter.
Yeah.
Be there and ready to go. But traveling with people, meeting friends, I invited people to dance here that are still dancing that I danced with in Milwaukee, in Chicago, and all that. You build a lot of connections like that through dance. The dance world is very, very, very small. Very, very small.
Right.
And then traveling is always fun. Artists are fun to be around. What we do is very hard. It's very demanding.
Yeah.
It's not only on your body, but also on your mind.
Well, why is it Play at your mind.
Well, like think like this. You're not only having to count music to lift the girl above your head, but you also need to make sure that it looks easy and looks interesting to people to watch.
It's like the ultimate goal. is that it
Exactly.
looks effortless.
Exactly. So, I mean, we danced through injury before, which I don't recommend, of course. But when you're trying to make a name for yourself, you kind of go through that, right? So it's hard on your mind. Especially, I left home when I was 11 years old, and then instead of going back to my house in Teresina, I went further away to Chicago. So the mental health about that is actually very important, which is something that I kind of bring to Springfield Ballet. We actually going to put they don't put pressure on our kids at all. They're still kids.
We know there's discipline. We know there's a lot that goes into it, but it
Yeah.
still needs to be fun. and
Yeah, we
fun.
push them without breaking their spirit. That's
Yeah.
what I like to say.
Yeah. As kids move on from Springfield Ballet and begin to become more serious about it, what are the things that they're going to have to begin to sacrifice, or things that they're going to have to understand moving into collegiate or professional levels away from the Springfield Ballet with a more fun side of it? Is there things that they're going to have to learn, give up, understand?
I always think about a balance a lot. You know, like if they go to a college to do ballet, they're gonna have to sacrifice some time with their friends because, you know, we dance in the morning and have rehearsals at night. Here we're trying to give them the Fridays, the seniors especially, with no rehearsals because we want them to go to high school football. We want them to be with their friends and all that.
Right.
I think that it's hard because you only have a limited amount of rehearsals, but we try to make sure that they still have their lives besides dance. When you get to the studio, we're going to treat you like you're going to become a professional dancer. That's the goal, right? But with the idea, I don't know if you're going to be that or not, but we want to make sure you still a kid. You should be able to do your stuff they want to do.
Right. What's it take to be a professional dancer? What's it take to trim it down from 300,000 to 1,000 to 100 to 10 or 15 or 20? What does it take?
Discipline, commitment. I mean, I say thick skin because you're going to hear a lot of no's because auditions are tough. Not our audition, by the way. If you audition to us, you're going to have a spot. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Now, we're diving into the professional leagues here.
But if you're a professional, like you're going to hear a lot of no's, but
Yeah.
then you just need one yes.
Yeah.
You just need one.
Right.
That's all.
Interesting. If you're just joining me, I am talking with Springfield Ballet's co-artistic director, Jose Suarez.
That's right.
And executive director, Kyler Dibben. It's a new season celebrating 50 years and 41 years of Nutcracker happening December 17th through the 21st. Sleeping Beauty will be the spring performance, May 13th through the 16th. And a new board, Kyler, as well?
Yeah, so with our new fiscal year, we've got 8 new board members, all with their own professional expertise behind it. So I'm excited that we've got some new ideas on the board. We've got some real excitement. There's just a real energy.
What makes a good member or a good board altogether?
I think somebody who is willing to put in the work. I know that these are folks who have full-time jobs outside of this, so this is
Sure.
a volunteer position, but somebody who loves the arts in the Ozarks, somebody who wants the best interest for our kids in mind, and somebody who's willing to put their time and effort into making this a success. We have a very lean staff of 6 employees in the office, so they are a huge help whenever we run productions.
Right.
That's right.
During our auditions, we have 3 board members per audition, just so that we have a wide array of expertise and non-expertise on ballet, just to give like an audience perspective as to what our dancers are doing. So I think that a good board member is somebody who who has their own narrow set of knowledge and is willing to get their hands dirty for the organization.
Beautiful. It's the Springfield Ballet. If folks are interested in getting involved, whether it's dancers or folks who just want to see shows, get involved as far as supporting the organization, let's give them the website one more time.
Yeah, so that is springfieldballet.org.
Excellent. It's the Nutcracker December 17th through the 21st and Sleeping Beauty May 13th through the 16th. Jose, Kyler, thanks for stopping in and have a great season.
Thanks for having
Thank you
us.
so much.
I'm Jimmy Ray. You're listening to Arts News here on KSMU. Dance on. I'm Jimmy Ray. You're listening to Arts News here on KSMU, and a very special night of music, The Rising Revisited, a night of commemoration and music. And here to talk more about it, Jim Wilson, Brandon Moore, and Andy Campbell, all involved organizers and or performers in the group. Welcome, fellas.
Hey there.
Good morning, Jimmy.
Glad to have you here in the Arts News studio. Jim, tell us what this show's all about and how it came about.
The show came about because it's the 25th anniversary of the events of 9/11, and at the time, a motto quickly sprang up, which was never forget. But a third of the people who live in this country now really don't remember 9/11 because they weren't alive or they weren't really cognizant of events. And I felt it was important to remember the day. And I also heard a lot about September the 12th when I started talking to people about doing a show like this. And that was the mood that took over communities across the country, including Springfield, of both fear and consolation and what can I do to help. And I just felt like people needed to remember how the country came together as one big community.
Yeah. In the wake of that tragedy, just horrific scenes that we were all living through in real time, it was wild how everybody came together in the unity that felt. Maybe not since, in fact, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it right now. This particular show is going to be surrounded by an album. Brandon, what album is that?
Bruce Springsteen's The Rising. From my understanding, this was in response to the tragedy and just the necessity to get this art out there.
Kind of a way to start a healing process.
That's it, yeah.
Jim, what was the events that kind of took place that had Bruce in a position to make this thing happen?
Well, as a Jersey guy, part of his heart is very much in New York. New York has been very good to Springsteen for his entire career. And the story goes that he was viewing the still smoking remains of the buildings from the Jersey side. And somebody drove by and just yelled at him, "Bruce, we need you. We need you now." And he already had songs in the works about the need for recovery within communities unrelated to this, and he was able to build on those songs and create new work, the most powerful of which probably is the title track for the song. But there's also a lot of joy in the album. Brandon's going to do a song called Mary's Place, which is about, at the end of the day, again, community. You've got to get with your people and listen to music and have a good time, and hopefully people will enjoy this show as well as reflect on the events of 2001.
Yeah. And so the album that Springsteen released was called The Rising. And this came out what?
2002, I believe it was in June. He tells us another story that it was one of the most quickly absorbed albums that he ever released in terms of he went out on tour fairly quickly and his fans knew all the words within 4 weeks.
And so this is happening on the Gilloys on Friday, September 11th. You can get more information about the show at gilloystheater.com. And it's going to feature a lot of musicians, and it's going to take a lot of musicians to kind of fill this thing up. It's an award-winning album by Bruce Springsteen called The Rising. And folks involved, it's going to be led by kind of the mixtapes, but also lots of special guests and a big collaboration here with the Central Springfield Community Choir. Here to talk more about that, Andy Campbell, bud.
Yes, sir.
Good to have you again.
Thank you, Jimmy.
So the community choir, tell us just a little bit about that before we get into the show. Just a group of folks who love to sing?
Yeah, it is a group of folks that love to sing. And when approached about this idea, I was immediately taken to it because that was honestly a little later in my life, but my introduction to Bruce Springsteen. And so that was a big impact on just becoming a fan of his, but also being, watching those events happen on 9/11. Those of us of a certain age remember exactly where we were, who we were with, and so it had a major impact on all of us. And so I was honored to be asked to be part of this crew. And so we've been in rehearsals for a few weeks. We have a few more weeks of rehearsal as we prepare to essentially provide what are the backup singer portions.
Okay.
And so we will be to the back of the stage, bring in those harmony parts, and that will just help support the lead singers who are going to lead the way. And then, of course, the great mixtapes are going to just lay it down.
So the backup vocal parts that are on the record, you're putting an entire choir now to just those few voices that are on the album.
Yep,
Wow.
at least 4 parts or more.
How many singers are you going to have with you?
We're going to have about 50 singers on stage. Yeah, baby. It's going to be a full house on stage and
Wow.
hopefully a full house in the audience.
Yeah, excellent. Wow. And whenever you get to do something like this, what's it mean to the singers? What's it mean to the community choir to be able to be on the Gilloy stage, be a part of such an intimate and special production? I mean, you guys do concerts and events like that, but this seems to be maybe a little bit upper echelon here.
This is definitely something out of our wheelhouse, but something that I am excited to explore. We have not performed in the Gilloys before, and in our concerts, we move locations with every event. And traditionally, we have been more of a traditional style choral setting in our presentations. We did do a Spring Pops concert that we talked about at the Hatch last spring. And so this, I feel, is like we're just building on that.
Yeah. How'd it go over at the Hatch?
It went great at the Hatch, yeah.
I heard it's a cool room.
It was a great show.
Yeah,
I was
Brandon
there.
was there.
Yeah, it
That was a lot of
beautiful.
fun. Now to move to the Gilloys with the mixtapes and all these great lead singers, we're thrilled. The singers are thrilled. I'm thrilled. Rehearsals are great fun. So I'm looking forward to all of these pieces coming together in the next 2.5 weeks, which sounds scary as I say it.
It's September 11th, the 25th anniversary of that infamous day in New York City. And it's The Rising Revisited at the historic Gilloys Theater, downtown Springfield. A reinterpretation, a reframing of the album, if you want to call it a healing process 25 years later, a way to get together and celebrate each other and celebrate the idea that are still here. Jim, what spawned the idea for you?
Well, I actually lived in Washington, D.C. in 2001, and I was working at USA Today. Our offices were a mile from the Pentagon, so I had already got to the office that morning after the first 2 buildings in New York had been hit. Shortly after I got to work, the Pentagon was hit, and I was making photos out the window within a couple of minutes for the paper. So the day has always been in the back of my mind, and when the anniversaries roll around, it's in the front of my mind. So I always try to do something. I've written something fairly lengthy that I'll post on social media. Every year I've gone out and I've tried to make photos. So this year, again, with it being the 25th anniversary and still being relatively new to Springfield, I've only been here since 2019, I wanted to find out how did Springfield react. There's a memorial in Phelps Grove Memorial Park in the Victims Garden to the one local person who was killed, a young man who was working in one of the towers, who grew up in the area. That was a response, and I wanted there to be another response 25 years later. It's a t-shirt, it's a cliche, but to never forget. This was what Bob Linder, from former Springfield News Leader photojournalist, referred to as his generation's Pearl Harbor. And the shock that the country experienced on 9/11 undoubtedly is very similar to the shock of Pearl Harbor.
Talking with Jim Wilson there. We also have Brandon Moore, Andy Campbell here about The Rising Revisited. It's at the Gilloys Theater, September 11th. It's a album that Bruce Springsteen did, released the following year after 9/11, inspired by that tragic day. And Brandon, what kind of special guests we got here? The mixtapes are going to be leading the charge. You'll be doing something. Who else do we have that's going to be jumping on board?
You know, it's a great list of this community. We've got Brett Miller, local singer-songwriter, Colin Elmore, Todd Belisle. We're getting Eric Weiler out of musical retirement from Lindbergh's, Jody Blue.
Lyle Strickland.
A lot of big names there.
Yeah.
There are also individual instrumentalists who will sort of weave in and out throughout the show. And I'm excited about 2. I'm excited about a young man named Jude Llewellyn, who's a Central High School senior and just a tremendous guitar player. He has played with Molly Healy a couple times, and some folks might have caught him at one of the jazz clubs here in town.
Right.
And I'm also excited to hear the unofficial mayor of Springfield, Stephen Spencer, on harp. I've known Spence a long time, but I've never heard him play. And I think it's going to be a treat to see that guy up on stage.
Sure, as we sit underneath the Great Day in Springfield
Yeah.
photograph right there.
Love it.
Excellent, excellent. Now, I see here recollections by local residents of the days and weeks following the tragedy shared in videos throughout the evening.
Yeah, there are 6 videos. One that features the Memorial Garden that I mentioned, one that is going to be about an event that the Springfield Fire Department is part of actually the very next day, something called the Stair Climb that takes place at the renamed Route 66 Stadium. There are a couple of people who actually went to New York City, so it's their recollections. And there's also a sort of uplifting story, and I don't want to give too much away, but a video that will run right after intermission before the music resumes about a historic archaeological event that occurred in Springfield on 9/11 and that would not have happened if 9/11 had not occurred.
I think I just read about that. That will be interesting to learn more about. We heard where Jim was that morning in D.C. there by the Pentagon, which we know was part of this. Brandon, where were you at September 11th?
Was working as a carpenter at the time and went to meet my partner. Got to work early. I couldn't sleep. I don't know. Went in super early and worked for a few hours. And then when I went to his house to get him and go back to work, as I pull into the driveway, he runs out on the porch. He was screaming at me, "Get in here, get in here." And I ran in there, and there it was on the news. We were watching the first tower fall, and then as we're watching it, the second plane hit. And it was just, I'll never forget that moment. I can still sense everything of that room, smell the room even when I was there. You know?
Like Andy said, if of a certain age, it's embedded in your memory. Where were you, Andy?
I was in Fort Worth, Texas, and I was working on my degrees in choral conducting, and we were in conducting class, and class was cut short. We went to our professor's office and turned on the TV because they told us something was going on, and that was right before the plane hit the second tower as well. So, which was just shortly after 9 o'clock, I believe. Standing there with my colleagues and my professor, watching that go down, and that pretty much was what happened the rest of the day. I mean, I think that was nationwide. Schools around the country, churches, etc. Folks were watching it unfold on TV in shock and awe and
Disbelief.
dismay. Yeah, absolutely.
And fear. Mm-hmm. Like, ugh.
Certainly changed fear
Yeah.
for lots of
What's
people.
next? And
From that day in your conducting class to now conducting a choir of nearly 50 people or more, it's September 11th, Gilloy's Theater, The Rising Revisited, the legendary Bruce Springsteen record, going to be reimagined through local players, including Andy's community choir, Brandon, the mixtapes, and so many more, Jim Wilson at the helm. Tough for everybody, really, but a way to heal here. 25 years later, the Gilloy's Theater will host The Rising Revisited on September 11th, 25 years to the day. You can find more information at gilloystheater.com. And fellas, thanks for being a part of it. Thanks for putting together, Jim. And thanks for coming in to tell us all about it. We'll see you there.
thanks for having me.
Thanks for talking to us, Jimmy.
I'm Jimmy Ray. You're listening to Arts News here on KSMU. A new book traces the Springfield Art Museum's history from its founding a century ago to the present day. The museum will celebrate its release with a public panel discussion this weekend. The new book, entitled A History of the Springfield Art Museum, traces the institution back to 1926, when art educator Deborah Weisel and a group of local art advocates founded what would become the Springfield Art Museum. Museum curator Sarah Boer authored the book. She says the idea grew out of her own effort to understand the museum's history after joining its staff 19 years ago. ago.
So I started really seeking out primary sources and trying to put together a history of who we were.
The book also includes essays from Caitlin McConnell, Kate Baird, and museum director Nick Nelson. Boer says the finished product became more than just a history of the institution.
I think other people are responding to it because it also talks about Springfield's history.
Boer and the contributing writers will take part in a panel discussion and Q&A Saturday, August 29th at the Library Center. Doors open at 2:30 p.m. with the discussion beginning at 3:30 and a book signing to follow. The event is free and open to the public. More information at sgfmuseum.org. And you're invited to a free concert featuring the Highland Chamber Players. That's harp and violin duet. Open to the public at the Library Center of the Ozarks. That's located at 200 South 4th Street in Branson. It's happening Monday, August 31st at 1:30 p.m. For more information, you can call 502-345-5485. That's a free concert at the Library Center on Monday, August 31st, featuring the Highland Chamber Players. And tonight, local filmmakers will take over the historic Fox Theater for a free showcase of films made in the Ozarks. The Ozarks Film Foundry and Yellow Bike Films are presenting the Filmmakers Showcase, featuring a curated lineup of locally produced short films. Organizers say the event is designed to highlight regional filmmakers while giving audiences a chance to experience the growing film community in Southwest Missouri. The showcase runs tonight from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. with films beginning at 7 p.m. Admission is free and open to the public. More information can be found on Facebook at Ozarks Film Foundry. That's happening tonight. A filmmaker showcase at the historic Fox Theater downtown Springfield starting at 7 p.m. And also in downtown Springfield on Park Central Square every Saturday night live from downtown, May through September. It's a free concert series for folks with multi-genre acts happening from 7 to 9:30. This week, tomorrow, August 29th, the funky soulful sounds of Jalopy, and opening the show, the Horn Supremacy, a funky all-wind and brass ensemble featuring local music educators. That's live from downtown tomorrow and every Saturday on Park Central Square, every Saturday, May through September, starting at 7 p.m. More information at livefromdowntownsgf.com. The great Dolly Parton has passed away at the age of 80 this week. And in my opinion, more than just a singer, songwriter, and storyteller, she was an icon that brought people together. When you see or hear Dolly Parton, you can't help but smile. It doesn't matter your beliefs, political views, class, gender identity. She simply brought joy as an actress, as a businesswoman, and an advocate for literacy, inspired by her father who could not read or write. Every month she would provide free books to children through her Imagination Library, an organization that sent out over 330 million books to children around the world. Instead of becoming a billionaire, she provided health care and disaster relief, and even helped fund research towards a vaccine for COVID-19 during the pandemic. She was funny, smart, beautiful, compassionate, a powerhouse musical talent, a hero to many, including to myself, my family, and many of my musical friends, as told by the outpouring of tributes, grief, and support this week following the news of her passing, like these words from local singer-songwriter Dallas Jones.
Dolly Parton was the absolute best of us. Obviously a tremendously gifted performer and songwriter and singer, but my goodness, what a human being, what a humanitarian, what a legacy she has built and left for the rest of us. Everything she touched was full of joy and light and laughter, and she brought people together. Nobody brings people, and nobody continues to bring people together like Dolly Parton, and our world is a darker place without her. Long live Dolly. Long live the Queen.
Thank you, Dallas Jones, and thank you, Dolly Parton. That's all the time we have for Arts News this week, folks. Thank you so much for joining me today and every Friday, 10 a.m. for Arts News here on our public radio station in the Ozarks. It's KSMU. Peace. It's Arts News, people and places, things to do. Arts News, here on KSMU. Hey!